So I'm trying to wrap my head around this. So I'm gonna start with this. Let's just forget about Trump. Forget about Trump for a minute. Let's just say you go to the local store in your neighborhood, Walmart, Target, whatever. Pick one, and a bunch of people. Let's say about 15 people all point to the same person and say, "Look at this dude. This guy is a child predator." What would you think? Let's be honest. Be honest. The first thing we're going to say is, this person is probably a predator. I mean, be honest. Just be honest. You're going to just conclude. There's no reason not to. Is there a reason not to if that many people all point to the same person and say, that guy is a predator? No, you're going to agree. You're going to agree. Pick any predator around, and there's this map where you can look at all the sex offenders in your area and pick one of those people and trust them. Let's say any one of those persons was like, I can make you $1 billion. I can be the best leader in the world. Would you trust that person? Or would you be unable to get beyond this person being a predator? Am I talking crazy? And before someone quickly, like if someone's not a predator, what's not going to happen? You're not going to be able to look at their history, their past. You won't find things that could hint at it. Does that make sense? So we're starting with hints. So what could hint at someone being a sexual predator? Well, probably talking to kids. Probably mentioning something sexual to kids. Let's start there. So if this 15 people pointed at this person and you yourself research this person and you can't really find anything that could hint that they're a predator, maybe they're not a predator. But what if you look at the history and there's about 3 to 6 clues that could definitely hint that they're a predator, or more? It could be more. When you look at Trump's history, what do you see? Like, I was just listening. There's someone in my city who just got busted for child porn, and I know that's not the top, but it's near the top of something that you could say this person's a predator. But we may not have that for Trump. That's okay. Do you think we need that for Trump? Do you think we need to conclude someone's a predator only when they have child porn? Or are there other lighter things that we could look at and we can conclude that? See, we have to be honest. We have to be willing to accept things as they are. And when we look at Trump's history, what do we see? Like, you have to be honest. Forget about this guy's rich. Everybody wants to get him. You first of all, the wealth that he has, any one of you MAGAs, any one of you, pick one of you. If you're on fire and you're near Trump, you're not even getting pissed on. You need to be honest. First of all, that's what you need to realize. He does not care about you. He does not. Like, you have to understand that. When someone's at a certain income level, their care for you dissipates or disappears entirely. That's just the truth about life for the most part. Now, there are exceptions to that rule, but again, what's a rap sheet? What people, it seems like you don't want to look at history. Well, what is Trump's history? They look at Biden and Clinton and they conclude they're predators. Yeah, Biden sniffed kids' hair, and he may have touched a kid in a non-sexual way a few times. I mean, Clinton was with Lewinsky. That's pretty much it. I mean, yeah, Clinton's in the files, but so is Trump. Biden isn't in the files. I don't think I saw Biden in the files. And I know Harris definitely wasn't. Harris has no ties or no hints, no clues to being a sexual predator. Look at Harris's history. If you can find one thing that would hint that she's a sexual predator, I would have to stop this video. But we all know she has no ties to any sexual predator stuff. So this is what I mean. When you look at someone's history, it'll give you clues or hints. And no, it does not need to be a smoking gun, but it can be something like talking to a child and telling them something sexual. Like, I'll be dating them in 10 years to a 12-year-old. How is that not a clue as someone being a sexual predator? Please explain that. And again, that's one clue. We have many clues. How about inspecting? So my day job, I kind of could do such a thing. Would I get away with that? If I went into any locker room, whether they're underage or not, and said I was inspecting, would I get away with that? Would that be a valid reason? What if some sexual predator from around your neighborhood went into a girl's locker room? Let's just go high school. Would inspecting be a way for him to, would they be, oh, he's just inspecting? What if he owned it? What if the CEO owned it? What if the what if the principal of a high school was inspecting the girl's locker room? Would you be okay with that? You guys have to really think. You have to be honest. That's crazy to me. That's prison. It's prison. It's a peeping Tom. And Trump admitted this on Howard Stern. He joked about it laughingly. He sounded like an egotistical maniac on that radio show, Howard Stern. He literally said, "I'm inspecting." And he admitted that they're naked girls, all these beautiful naked girls. And guess what? You can't tell me this man is stupid. He is, but he's also smart. And what he said was, all these beautiful naked women, and I go in and I'm the inspector. I'm inspecting it. Now, again, that's 2 clues. What other clues do we have of this man a sexual predator? How about it on a show, a talk show? Come on, man, go. Him and his daughter's there, and remember, his daughter is like, I don't know, she's fully grown here, but they ask him and her, what do you have in common with each other? I'm a father. I have a daughter. But there's no way in the world I would sit there and say sex. This is your president. What do you have in common with your daughter, Trump? Sex. And you guys think this man don't deserve prison. And it's not just this one incident. I've given you 2 others, so now we're at 3. We're at the count of 3. Sex. I'm inspecting. And you think this man is innocent. My God, what are you drinking? What are you drinking? Sex. Come on, man. You guys must think we're stupid. Maybe that's what it is. You guys must think we're the stupid ones. So what else is there for this crazy man? Well, I mean, as far as a sexual predator, the dude was best friends with the one of the worst sex traffickers in the world. I mean, I think that to me is like having 5 computers with child porn on it. From my perspective, being best friends for 10 years with someone like that, you may as well have 5 computers with child porn. I mean, you have to think about it. You have to think about Trump and what he has done in his history. What is history? And people brush over this. Listen, if someone caught Trump peeping like that in those locker rooms, he would have gotten arrested. He would have gotten, well, maybe not arrested. Maybe they wouldn't have arrested him. And people might say, oh, there's no proof of that. The women admitted it. And don't tell me Trump didn't know there were minors. No CEO would be inspecting and not know the ages of those people. There were 15-year-old girls there. If Trump was having sex with a 15-year-old girl, would you be okay with that? Now, of course, he didn't have sex with a 15-year-old, but the fact that he probably knew there were 15-year-old girls in there and still inspected. naked women, naked girls, that should tell you something. That should tell you something. Now, I won't say for sure this is true, but it's more than likely the case that he used his pageants to traffic girls to Epstein. Now think about that for 1 minute. What if that was true? That man deserves prison. I'm telling you right now, Trump deserves prison. Because if anyone that was not named Trump did the things that Trump did, you would be like, put him in prison for life, 30 years to life. Like, be honest. Be honest. There is no person that was ever president that has a history as bad and as awful as Trump. Like, you cheated on all of your wives. You cheated on one of your wives while she was pregnant with a porn star. Maybe this guy has a history of a porn addiction or something like that. How do you even know who Stormy Daniels is? But anyways, you pay her off to shut up. I mean, this is beyond corruption. That's beyond that. I mean, think about it. You're like, it's one thing to cheat on your wife, but to pay the person off? Come on, this is beyond corruption. The only reason why this man isn't in prison, the only reason why that's the case is because of the wealth that he has and the celebrity status that he has. Most people wouldn't get away with what he got away with. But that doesn't absolve him of his crimes. Like, a lot of you want a smoking gun, but why do you need a smoking gun when we know what the facts are? Like, it is a fact he was a best friend with him for 10 years. And Epstein, just listen to what Epstein said about Trump. If you listen to what Epstein said, and I know you're probably going to say, well, Trump cut ties with Epstein after he... Well, the first thing you need to realize is they were best friends for 10 years. Clearly, only an idiot would say Trump doesn't love women. Only an idiot would think that. Because that is the number one clear thing, that Trump loves women. He's a bit of a womanizer. That's the first thing we need to know. That's the first thing we should be able to accept, that this man was all about getting laid, all about loving on women. Jeffrey Epstein straight said on the audio that Trump be having sex with other men's wives. Like, that's the kind of dude this man is. How can you trust that kind of a person? A person who says such disgusting things. Sit down, piggy. Like, I want my president to be held to the highest morality, the highest esteem. You know, character to me is first. I don't care about your plan. I want you to have a good plan, but I want you to have a better character. I don't care if your plan is perfect, but if you're a shit person, I want nothing to do with you. And people think that's a crazy take. And it's not even that Trump has a great plan. He might be doing okay in immigration. And he's a war criminal now. You bombed a children's school. You just killed girls. Like, this man should be in prison. Prison is the only place Trump should be. A box. Put him in a box. Because this man this man has done worse things than almost anyone I've seen. I've seen Bill Clinton. I've seen George Bush. You know, I look at George Bush's history. From what I can tell, George Bush has been married to the same person. George Bush doesn't have any ties to sexual predators. He's never said anything crazy about him and his daughter. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? And he's a Republican. I don't like Reagan, but I can't go to Reagan's history and look at certain sexual things like I can do with Trump. Why do you think that is? Do you think maybe it's because it's a hoax against Trump? Or maybe Trump's a predator and all these other presidents were actually halfway decent people as far as their character? You know? You have to be honest. You have to look at what is being said. You know, they say it comes out of the horse's mouth. Well, what is the horse saying? Sex. Sex. What do you have in common with your daughter? Sex. Boy, if somebody said that, they should be arrested immediately or had a full investigation, look at their computers, everything. Put them in an interrogation room, everything. You think that's crazy for me to even say that, huh? You probably think it's crazy for me to say. But why would someone ever think that they have anything in common sexually with their daughter? That's just beyond weird to me. And again, it's not just that. I'll be dating her in 10 years. To a 12-year-old girl, what is wrong with you? First of all, and that tells me, the fact that he said the things that he said tells me he knows he can get away with it. Why is that? Because he's got the money and he's got the status. And that is another truth. And I will make a video about that another day. But for now, I mean, I really don't know how you could support this man. Like, especially over, and I want to talk to the women, because the statistics are glaring. Many women are assaulted. Many women in this country and world are assaulted sexually by men. Let's just start there. And for people to say that these women are lying, I'm going to tell you right now, if there's one or two people or women who come and accuse, I'm willing to say perhaps these women are lying. Perhaps. I don't say with certainty that they are, but I say maybe they're lying. 20 people, 20 women, 20, 10 plus 10, 10 plus 10 women said this man assaulted me. Why is he innocent? Oh, they just want his money. Really? Is that the only argument you have, is that, they want his money? And again, in this case, again, these accusations of rape, and he was held liable in the civil court. And we all watched Divorce Court. I mean, I did. And Judge Mathis. And, all those shows, all those court shows. That's what civil court is. That's what civil court is. And from my perspective, for the most part, the judge is usually right. I don't have a percentage. I can't give you a percentage, but it's a decent percentage. They're generally right. I generally accept the judgments by the judge because they're not stupid. And so that is not really different from what happened with Trump and E. Jean Carroll. It's pretty much the same thing. It's civil court. Civil court isn't going to put you in prison, because that's not what civil court is. Civil court is just about a settlement and getting paid, holding that person accountable for what they did. Like, a couple goes to court. I remember one person was like, oh, they stole from me or whatever. And one person gives their evidence, the other person gives their evidence, the judge makes a ruling. This is what happened with Trump and E. Jean Carroll. Trump gave his, E. Jean Carroll gave hers. The judge looked at everything and said, Trump, you probably did it. You're guilty. How do we look at that and say hoax? No, we need to accept things for what they are. Trump was ruled liable, which was guilty. He's guilty. And it's not even that hard to imagine that Trump would do that, because he cheated on all of his wives. I mean, he's clearly a womanizer. And that, him being a womanizer, that shouldn't even be up for debate. That shouldn't. But some of you people, especially extreme MAGA, you're in a cult. You're going to deny no matter what. No matter what. If Trump was raping your wife in front of you, you would still deny. You still would say something. You would try to flip it to make it seem like Trump is innocent. Some of you are that bad off. Some of you really are. But this man has a good enough rap sheet for us to conclude he should be in prison. And if you're a woman who's been abused, why did you ever support an abuser? Clearly he's an abuser. He's no different than Diddy, except Diddy was clearly with lube and all that stuff, which isn't illegal. But I mean, and also he defended Diddy. On the Apprentice, which is weird to me too. Now, weird is is kind of low level. You know, if someone's weird, they may not deserve prison. But you have these little weird things he did that were outliers, that were hints and clues of a bigger picture. And on The Apprentice, he was asking this woman, so what do you think about Diddy? Is Diddy a good guy? Diddy a good guy? Diddy a good guy? He almost pushed this woman to make her say he was a good guy. And you voted for him and you still think he's innocent. uh, um, I can't really say anymore. All I can say is this: Trump for prison. Peace.